1930s Murderer Mouse is yet another creepy cartoon created by the one who made Suicide Mouse, and some of Magrilo Mouse from 1929 to 1931. The cartoon begins with a title screen. At the top, it says in English, Walt Disney Presents. In the center, there is a circle with text stating Murderer Mouse. After about 5 seconds of this, it cuts to Mickey Mouse, who is seemingly joyful, walking out of his house with happy piano music in the background. However, the room he walks out of has a portrait of Minnie Mouse, except that has a giant X over it. The cartoon looks worse for wear than the beginning of Magrilo Mouse, yet better than the other half. After a couple seconds, it switches to Mickey happily strolling on the streets, the left side, when he runs into a duck-looking character crying. It's notable to point out that this is not Donald Duck, because Donald was created by Disney in 1934, whereas this was made 4 years prior. Anyway, Mickey asks the character if he's alright, and the character replies no. Mickey then says, "I know what will make you happy." Now, all 3 lines of dialogue are said in a noticeable Russian accent, because, of course, the creator was Russian. It's here we note that these voices sound rather sad, though. And when the conversation ends, Mickey walks in the opposite direction to earlier, this time on his right, and the duck follows him. This scene lasts for 3 seconds before they suddenly start walking backwards for another 3 seconds. The two then stop. The piano playing in the background also stops. Mickey turns to the duck and gives him a creepy smile. He pulls out a knife, and the screen cuts to black. After 10 or so seconds, the video cuts to real-world footage? It's just a room with a piano for 3 seconds until someone dressed up as Mickey enters the room carrying a knife. The Mickey suit itself seems to be covered in blood. The man turns to the camera, and a second later, the screen cuts to black for yet another 10 seconds, before switching to another room. 2 people are seen lying dead on the floor, covered in blood. Thankfully, this screen only lasts a split second before cutting to black for 10 more seconds. We then see a dog, still real-life footage at this point, walking around. It seems to be struggling horribly. After another short period, the screen cuts to black again, this time for 5 seconds, before turning back into a cartoon. It really doesn't get any better, however, as we see Mickey eating up the guts of the duck and some other tall dog character, which notably is not Pluto or Goofy. And the sound, which wasn't there for the real-world segment, is the same music box heard in Suicide Mouse. Just less broken, I guess. It seems to be a Mickey Mouse March music box. The music box is accompanied with disgusting chewing noises, and after 20 or so seconds, the screen cuts to black once more, before text appearing, "Part 2 soon." After a couple more seconds, the video ends. Now, okay, I have a theory for this. The creator of this video, who I'll just call Mr. Andreev, is insane. I mean, no shit, you know. Before he finished Magrelo Mouse, he worked as a group of 3 called Andreev Productions. They would make bootleg cartoons, usually of already existing cartoons, right? They weren't well known. They seemingly did it for the entertainment. They worked on Magrelo Mouse, an original idea they had in mind. Mr. Andreev had a wife and a dog. Now, somewhere in the late 1929s, Mr. Andreev's wife cheated on him, hence the X on the mini portrait in Murderer Mouse. Now, this made Andreev go so mad that he killed his friends, in a Mickey suit, mind you, and recorded the suit and the dead bodies, presumably hiding both as, well, he didn't get caught. He then finishes Magrelo Mouse afterwards. And when he made Murderer Mouse in 1930, he included the recordings and a representation of the killing. There was also a recording of his dog, who was very poorly taken care of, on the verge of death. The dog is estimated to have died in 1930 or 31. Mr. Andreev was so depressed that he made Suicide Mouse. More specifically, the part 2 of Murderer Mouse. And probably did exactly what Mickey did in said cartoon. Suicide Mouse then somehow gets exported to the US somewhere in the early 2000s. Now, this doesn't explain the supernatural elements, the screeching, the impossible colors, you know, and how the guards seeing the ending of Suicide Mouse repeated what the mouse did. I guess the question you have to ask yourself is, could it have been Andreev? We may just never know.